The Deck Network. Build a deck. Bam! This is the Deck Network, and I'm your host, Mike Danzilio, and we have the loose cannon.
The co-host with the most, Matt Dalton here. Remember, the Deck Network, it's all decks all the time, and this might be the most important show on decking you watch all day today, Mike.
I would think so.
I'd hope so.
Okay. All right, today's show, we're going to talk about Genovations Decking from a company called Genova Products.
Where are they at, Mike?
They're out of Davidson, Michigan. They have they call it deck flooring, but we have two videos from them, very informative. So let's get into the videos, and then we'll talk about the products afterwards. Remember, we always try to keep this fast moving, and so this is their brochure. Great people over there. They've been on the Deck Network before and got a lot of views. The last time that we
all
showed
our
them.
Videos get a lot of views.
You think so? What do you think the reason is for that?
Well, that's probably the co-host. And we've had some talk. All these shows, even though it's recorded, we're recording this live.
Yeah, we don't
have an earpiece. No one's feeding us information on decking. It's all coming from our heads here.
Mistakes and all.
This is the face of 1 million deck boards. Look at him. He knows about decking.
Okay, so it's Mark Maniaci.
Nice Italian guy, sounds like. All right.
From Genovations Decking out of Michigan. Excuse me. And let's take a look at that one first. Let's go. Okay. Right now we're with Mark Maniaci from Genovations Decking. We've had him on the show before. A lot of views, so we're always going to do it again. Mark, what do we got?
We have Genovations deck flooring here today.
Deck flooring, different than just decking.
Yeah, a little bit different than that. The reason we call it deck flooring is just a couple of the profile with that. Like flooring, it is tongue and groove product with this. What's nice about the tongue and groove, it gives it a lot of the strength with that. Also, what gives it its strength here is the unique technology we have. We have what's called I-beam construction. What I tell people is this thing's like a floor truss with the ability to accept that it's supported on all four posts with that. So, nice thing about this product too is it's the way it goes down. It goes down very easily. There's a couple things with this product. Starts off with a starter strip here, like so. Screw it down here nice and tightly with an 1.25" panhead screw, like so. Tongue groove right there. There's no clips, no spacers involved with this product. 1/8 of an inch is right here for water runoff. These are screw slots, but they're also weep holes, the way you get continuous drainage throughout the product. Now when you get to the end of the product, you have a couple different ways to cap it off here. You have what's called a C channel here. Caps in from here, screwed in from the bottom, as well as we do also make a trim strip. Now the nice thing about the trim strip here is a little bit less circumference on the deck board here, but also here it's got pop-outs here, so now you can do radiuses, so you're not just doing a square deck. You can do the half moons. I've even done a round deck before with this product.
All right, let's. Looks like you have a few colors over here. Let's see what you have.
We have 9 different colors here. We have 2 different styles. We have your what's called solid colors here, and we also have what's called your variegated colors here. The difference between the 2 colors is the variegated colors are going to have the black streaks, which makes it more and more look like wood. Our variegated colors are majority of where the market's going. I'd say it's probably about 70% of our business with this product. A little bit different price point too with each one too. The variegates tend to run a little bit more with that because there's a little bit more process that goes through with that.
Okay, the white or the birch wood is a very special product for specialized applications. Not a lot of decks done with it, but there's not a lot of decking sold in this color. So
This is a unique color. There's not too many of the deck manufacturers that keep this color. It is a popular color down in the southern states just because of that it's going to be the coolest color, meaning it's not going to heat up as much as some of the other colors. This color is popular too around pools is because you're walking around barefoot, so on a 100-degree day in Florida, you're not going to be burning your feet with this color with that.
All right, Mark. Thanks again for
Thank you.
A great little talk about it.
All right.
And we'll see you again soon.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Okay, Matt, what did you think of that one?
Well, you look like Johnny Cash on the video. Really
like
digging
that,
the man in black there. That was
I'll make
super
sure
cool.
that those 2 types of clothing never get in the suitcase
I don't know how
together.
I don't know how it snuck past the styling team here at the Deck Network, but you made it work.
But there's another video on the Genovations website. Gentleman Jim, it didn't say what his last name was, and he did a nice job talking about the different types of composite decking. So we're going to let Jim tell us a little bit about that.
So Jim is doing online videos on decking. I wonder where he got that idea from.
Well, He learned
Deck
his
Network.
he learned his craft on watching the Deck Network. There's no doubt about that.
People are studying these videos to see how they can craft the show in future generations.
Okay, so let's watch the video now.
Hi, this is Jim with Genovations, here to talk to you about the different categories that are available in today's decking market. The first category of decking we want to talk about is the composite. A composite is nothing more than wood fiber and plastics mixed together and extruded out into a deck board. These came out in the early 90s and they were exactly as advertised. You don't have to paint them, you don't have to stain them, they're not going to rot or decay. But it didn't take long to find out that there's some real drawbacks with composites. One drawback is they fade real easy. So this year you have a nice redwood color deck, next year you probably have a nice pinkwood color deck. Or you put a flower pot down on top of it in the spring, take it off in the fall, there's a dark circle where that flower pot sat. That's the fading that you're going to get with composites. In addition, they're soft, so they scratch easy, they're absorbent, so they stain easy, and they also contain wood fiber, so there's a high likelihood you're going to get some mold growth on the surface of it. The positive part of the composite is, compared to all other categories, the composite is going to be the most price competitive board out there. The next category of decking that came out was the vinyl deck. This deck was introduced to help overcome some of the problems that composites had. So with a vinyl deck, some of the positives are you don't have the fading issues, you don't have the issues with mold growth, but vinyl decks created some issues of its own. One is that they just didn't look all that good. They didn't have that wood look to them. It looked like plastic. The other thing is that they tended to squeak when you walked on them. They cracked when it got cold out. They were slippery when they got wet, and they were available in very limited colors, usually white, tan, and gray. The next category that came out was the cellular PVC or CPVC decking. What that is it's got a core here. They inject a foaming agent, create a rigid foam, and then they cap this. CPVC deckings have a lot of very positive things to say about them. They're the best advancement to date. What it is that they're scratch resistant, they're stain resistant, they're fade resistant, they don't get moldy, but now there is a set of drawbacks with these. One is they're very pricey. When compared to a composite deck, these are the most expensive options out on the market. The other thing is, this core here is foam. Foam is not a very structural product, yet we're putting it in a deck board, laying it flat, and now asking it to carry a load. It's just not very good at it. Out of all the categories out there, cellular PVCs have the shortest span ratings. They're also not very stiff or rigid, so they tend to be more bouncy than the other categories. In addition, anybody that spends this much on a deck typically doesn't want exposed fasteners. They don't want screws just sticking out the surface of the deck. They want a hidden fastener system, and most of the time that means clips. Clips can be very expensive. On average, they probably run anywhere from $1, $1.25 a square foot on up. You take that and add it to the price of this, it becomes a very, very expensive deck in a hurry. So then the next category that came out was the capped composite. And what a capped composite is it's got a composite core instead of a cellular, and then they cap that. So what this did on the positive is it, as a price point, it drove it down. This is cheaper than a cellular. It's still more than a composite, but it does have the advantages of a cellular PVC because the surface is scratch resistant, stain resistant, fade resistant, mold resistant, same as the cellular, but it costs a little bit less. Some of the other disadvantages, though, is that it still has the same ratings as a cellular PVC deck board does. You're still using clips if you want a hidden fastener, and also this core here, this tends to be quite a bit heavier than a cellular and even heavier than most of the composites out there. So to work with is a very, very heavy deck board and tends to be more difficult to install than the other kinds. The last one we want to talk about is in a category by itself. This is called Genovations. It's not actually a deck board. It's categorized as flooring for your deck. The reason it's categorized as flooring is it's actually a tongue and groove design. Two boards just simply fit together and give you a finished flooring look on your deck. It's all hidden fasteners. The surface on Genovations has got a nice soft satin finish to it. It's not shiny as glossy as much as the cellulars or the capped PVC products are. Our surface is anti-slip, anti-skid. It is ADA approved, and it does not get slippery when it gets wet. They measure that in what's called a coefficient of friction, and the coefficient of friction on Genovations wet or dry is almost the same. In addition, there's reflectance in the surface here, so when the sunlight hits it, a lot of the heat reflects off, and then more heat gets dissipated through these channels here. So color for color, the surface temperature on average is going to be 10 to 15 degrees cooler than many of the 5-quarter deck boards on the market today. In addition, this is an engineered product. It's engineered to be very strong. Another reason for the hollowness, other than to allow for heat to dissipate, is that it allows us to put these I-beams in here. What that does is gives us a very strong, stiff, sturdy deck board. So the span ratings on Genovations deck flooring is greater than a 5-quarter deck board. It also has a much stronger feel to it. You don't get that bounce. It's a much stiffer board and a much better surface to walk on. It also, as we're talking about the surface is designed not to break, not to crack, not to chip, not to flake, none of those things. So you don't have to worry about dropping heavy things on it, or is something going to penetrate the surface, or is it going to get chalky, or is it going to look bad in years to come? The answer is no, it's designed not to do that. It's also designed not to absorb food or beverage stains. So as you spill things on here, just simply wipe them off and they'll come right off. It also is designed not to fade. So what we're seeing here is, if you look at this deck board today, come back 25, 30 years from now, it's still going to look like this. It's not going to be faded, it's not going to be cracked, it's not going to be chalked, it's not going to be stained. So while at times it might cost a little bit more than a composite deck, the advantages of the Genovations deck flooring is that you have a deck that you can go out, you can use in everyday life, you can enjoy, and you're not going to have to worry about a lot of the issues and problems that you have with standard 5-quarter decking, because they have all been solved and resolved in one deck board, and that deck board is Genovations Engineered Deck Flooring. For more information, please visit our website at www.genovationsdeck.com.
All right, Matt, what'd you think of that? Wait, hey, what's up? Woo! What'd you think of that video?
That was interesting. That Jim can talk, man. It's great information, and then we've said this before, the Deck Network, we give the info, but we make it entertaining.
Yes,
infotainment is a word that we kind of coined.
All right, let's take a look at some of the products. Let's pull out this contractor kit. All right. And while we have a moment, we were having a contest to see what is in Matt's coffee cup.
I'm going to give you a hint. It's not coffee.
Someone wrote me the other day after the last video, one of the videos, and he said, I think it's coffee. Come on. It's definitely not going to be coffee if it's in Matt's
If it's in the
cup.
mug, and I won't give any hints, but we are in negotiations with Jim Beam for an endorsement deal on the show. But
As
we
I've
don't know
said
if we can
before,
endorse.
Matt has never met a bottle of whiskey that he didn't like.
Or a deck that Mike hasn't liked. So let's look at this thing here now.
Let's not close off the camera or the microphone. So we have some nice deck, and we're unwrapping it like Christmas, which may come upon us sooner or later. All right, it is. Mike said that there's, or was it Mark?
These are the variations, right?
Variegations.
Variegations.
Variegations are the streaking. And yes, his name is Mark, and he showed us. Now this is a nice gray decking. He says it's a little, or Jim says it's a little stiffer at 16 on center, so you may be able to put it at an angle, and that because you with your Long Island education, you certainly know how to use the Pythagorean theorem.
I can't even spell Pythagorean theorem.
Okay, and
This stuff lighter to work with, it seems like, right?
It's very light. It's got some good stiffness because they're almost like an I-beam. You get a lot of stiffness from these webs. That's what they talk about in steel. It's a web on an I-beam. You get a lot of stiffness from that. It's a very thin profile, and it clips together. And as Jim said, you just use a standard stainless steel screw with this, so you're saving yourself a lot of money just on the attachments.
Now, you don't work for Genovations. This is the no-spin version of this.
Yes.
You're not endorsing the product. You're just giving the information, right?
Yeah, Bill O'Reilly is one of my favorite people. That's where I learned my craft, and he has the O'Reilly factor, and that is the no-spin zone.
That's what we are for decking.
Yes, we are the no-spin zone of decking.
Fair enough. People putting down a lot of white deck boards. When are you using? This is like the white rhino of decking. When the hell would you use a color like this,
It
Mike?
is a specialty color, but when somebody wants white decking, that's what they want.
That's what they want.
So there was more white deckings a few years back. There's less now, but nonetheless, somebody
People
wants
want
white
it.
decking.
You got to be able to provide it. All the
friends-
majors offering this color?
No. AZAC has had it for years. From what I understand, they're discontinuing the white decking.
Probably not selling
It
enough
worked
of it.
really well for a border.
Accent.
Like, yeah, it really worked well around that, and that's the only time we would ever sell it. But we do get calls 3 or 4 or 5 times a year for white decking. So here it is. Our friends at Genovations have it. They have these nice brown colors. We got sandstone with some slight
Chestnut
variegation.
here.
Yeah. Weathered wood, gray decking. From what I understand, or I've been told, that gray decking is only popular in the Northeast where we are. Now, we sell a lot of gray decking. And
Why do you think that is?
because of beach houses and Cape Cod gray, that type of stuff.
It's got a beachy feel to it.
Maybe some of our viewers can send us an email or so to say whether or not they like gray and which part of the country they're from.
Yeah, it's interesting to see
Yeah.
what's popular in certain areas.
Yeah, definitely. You'll see colors and rail styles. Now, in the Northeast, we like the rounded handrail. I guess classically style or calling it was the Queen Anne rail. And so a lot of the railings manufacturers make something that's more of a colonial style, whereas in the western part of the country, they like things more contemporary. Sometimes they like the flat top, or as you would probably like, they call it the drink rail or the party rail.
That's perfect for me.
And and then everybody has
I'll
some
drink to
different.
that.
Everyone has some different rails. Anything. This is a darker
This is
color.
cool.
This is walnut. Good strong decking. Jim mentioned that it's very slip resistant, stiff.
Now, because of this, Genovations, you can go structurally. Where are we going? 16 on center with these bad
Standard
boys?
is 16 on center.
Okay.
He mentioned that it was a little stiffer. I haven't seen any of the engineering reports because all decking has to be designed and tested. So if our joists are 16 inches on center, meaning there's 14 inches and 14 and a half inches in between, and you're allowed a slight bit of what we call deflection, and that's calculated by what they call an L over 360.
Hope you're getting all this at home because I'm not
Okay.
writing any of it down. But
So that's how.
That's how you
kind
kinda calculate it.
But if it's stiffer, then you can make it wider. So if you went up to 20 inches, that's what you would use if you have a deck that's framed 16 on center and you wanted to put your decking at a 45-degree angle. Well, then you're going to have a longer span in between there. So that's where this could really come in handy.
I'm liking the Genovations. If you want to check them out, genovationsdeck.com. Genovations with a G. While you're online searching for deck-related stuff, always look for us. We Deck Network on our own YouTube channel. Like us on Facebook. You can find us, The Deck Network, on Facebook. You can like us there.
Here is the Genovations website.
There it is.
Nice looking. It looks. Hey, they think they got their idea for their boards in the back right from us.
Yeah, we
Right
got
from
to
our
start.
set.
We got to talk to the copyright lawyers on some of this stuff because a lot of this information is proprietary just to the Deck
You know,
Network.
Matt, the saying is you could live by the copyright and die by the copyright. We somewhat
We take
bend the
some
rules
liberties.
a little sometimes if you like our Looney Tunes segment.
Intro.
But we certainly give credit to the Looney Tunes people. Great company. They got a lot of great pictures. So check them out. Genovations homepage, the decking. Genova decking or Genova building products.
It's definitely a cool product. You know, it's an alternative type of decking.
Yeah, you know, the two main players, Trex and TimberTech, have about 65% of
Market
the
share.
market. But I've been selling decking for a long time, and I always meet people that want something a little bit different. That's why you'll see different cars that not everybody wants. You know,
It's true.
Yeah, everyone's looking for something a little different.
That's why Baskin Robbins has 31 flavors, Mike, because
Yeah.
people want
You know,
different stuff. You
I
know?
may like strawberry ice cream, but I don't want it every day.
That's what I'm
that's,
saying. That's a whole different
yeah,
thing.
That's something for.
You know what I like what they did here? They have a deck mascot on the website.
Yeah.
We got to think about something for the Deck Network.
If you get any ideas, send them to Matt at the Deck Network.
Mike at the Deck Network.
Because we got to get some stuff in here. We got
Yeah.
to decorate the place.
Need
Maybe
some bobbleheads or
Yeah, we got to
something.
get some bobbleheads. And
Oh, I got it. Some Mets merchandise. What do you think?
I saw that they're on discount.
They're doing a Groupon. I actually saw that the Mets are selling tickets on Groupon.
Okay, folks, that's it for today. Great company, Genovations Decking.
Great internet deck show, the Deck Network. Thanks for joining us. On behalf of the co-hosts around the world, we say bye for this time.
Ciao for now.
We'll see you again. Right.